right, so let's kick off 3 reasons why your marketing automation strategy isn't working. I'm going to hand this off to Vanessa and Amanda shortly, but just a quick introduction. Here's the agenda. We're going to talk about Redpath a little bit further and then go through the 3 reasons why your marketing automation strategy isn't working. So go ahead, Amanda, would you mind introducing yourself?
Thanks, Eric. My name is Amanda Issacson. I've been with Redpath for some time now, but my expertise is working effectively with organizations to build their marketing automation strategy to have a business-first approach. I'm working with a number of mid-sized clients for the past 10, 15 years, helping them build these strategies to develop a return on their marketing investment. So happy to be here with ThinkApps and Redpath.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Ruiz. I am also a marketing automation consultant here at Redpath. Been here for about a year, and my specialty area is Pardot, and also just helping clients integrate Pardot or other marketing automation solutions with Salesforce and use those tools to really further their business goals. And before joining Redpath, my background is in nonprofit marketing and nonprofit marketing automation. So really excited to be here today and talk to you about how to make your marketing automation strategy work better. So again, to reiterate some of what Eric mentioned earlier, Redpath is a Salesforce consulting agency based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We've been around for 10 years this year. We've got over 330 clients on both the nonprofit and for-profit side, particularly in the mid-market sector. We are an impact partner on the Salesforce.org side and a silver partner on the Salesforce.com side, as well as a Pardot partner. And we've also been recognized locally as a top developer and one of the top advertising and marketing agencies here in Minneapolis. Our services are in 3 buckets: Salesforce, everything from implementations to custom development; marketing automation, again, implementations, setting up email best practices and strategy, and then along those lines, strategy. So helping assess your current business processes, helping you redesign them, and really get you set up for success on a strategy side. And then finally, amongst our consultants, we have over 80 Salesforce certifications and over 100 plus total years of consulting, which is pretty amazing. And you can see a breakdown of the different certifications that our consultants have here, really spanning the whole Salesforce and marketing automation ecosystem. And now I'll pass it over to Amanda for our first reason why your marketing automation strategy isn't working.
Great, thanks Vanessa for that introduction. So I'd like to kick off a lot of these reasons with a story, and I think being in your shoes as marketers and helping business leaders figure out why things aren't working after making a large investment in a marketing automation platform is one of the key reasons is sales and marketing alignment. You're leaving leads on the table and you have a leaky funnel and they're not being followed up with. In this particular example, I was working with a client in the technology space that was looking to grow pretty quickly and rapidly, and they invested in a marketing automation platform called Pardot, and that's one that we helped them put in place and align with their Salesforce instance. Soon we really quickly realized that the marketing teams and the sales teams were working in silos. So Eric, if you want to flip to the next slide there, I'll give you some of the pitfalls. And they weren't aligned on the strategy. A great example of this is the company was creating 1,200 leads from their website, and less than 10% were being followed up with. Part of that was some of the sales team having issues with the qualification and the quality of leads. So I think the pitfall pieces there is they just didn't trust the leads that were coming over. I know, Vanessa, you and I have talked to other clients that also face this issue, but I think the key piece is when you bring in any marketing automation platform, that alignment needs to be a top priority. And then the other The other piece is leadership teams are on board with the strategy. I find this time and time again that leadership teams aren't at the decision-making table when there's an investment made in marketing automation. I think a lot of assumptions are made that it's just an email platform, not really realizing the business automation components that really drive from investing in a platform, all the way from sales nurture campaigns to lead gen efforts to retaining your customer database and keeping those touch points. I recently read a Forrester report that said B2B buyers, it can take up to 12 to 16 months to get them to buy from you for a first time. So just knowing that the leadership needs to be on board with content marketing strategy and getting that investment so your organization can avoid these common pitfalls. And to further go through the story with Insight Software, one of the key things that we found is that leads were just being passed over from marketing to sales without any qualification parameters. So again, one of the key pieces were if someone filled out a form that was a competitor or someone filled out a form that was just doing research, we still would pass those leads over to the sales team. And through further discovery, we found the sales team was disappointed in the quality of leads and that they felt like they were just chasing down a rabbit hole trying to get these leads to have a conversation. So at that point, we decided to put together, and Eric, if you want to flip to the next slide, a solution map so no leads would be left behind. So we built a lead lifecycle management funnel, so assigning leads to the sales reps based on certain qualification parameters. I think this particular company was looking to focus on more small to medium-sized companies, so revenue of that particular company was really important, and also knowing who the titles and owners were at these companies. So we did a little segmentation as to what this lead lifecycle would look like. So again, we weren't just passing everyone over. We'd have a qualification with some scoring mechanisms, and then being able to nurture them through more content. We also then took a next lens look at what we were focusing on is even if the leads were being followed up with, the sales team couldn't effectively reach out to them. So I think, Vanessa, you and I have talked about this too as a big challenge for sales team is being able to have the tools and the sales enablement to follow up with some of these leads. So being able to build nurture campaigns, out-of-the-box email campaigns is really, from my point, a top priority in order to making sure these leads get qualified. And Vanessa, if you have anything to add there, I welcome your perspective as well.
No, I think you covered it well. Ensuring that you've got a clear process for qualifying leads, passing them off, something that can be overlooked, but is obviously, as you mentioned, extremely important.
And then the last piece was, I think, the measurability. So being able to be accountable, I think oftentimes marketing teams get looked at as a cost center and not a revenue driver from an executive standpoint. So being able to get alignment on how we can effectively, again, manage metrics for our marketing efforts so they coordinate with the business objectives, and that comes with that alignment at the top. So whatever platform you go with, being able to understand that, and then also being able to get that alignment with marketing and sales leaders as well. So part of the pieces of how we solved this, we built this is a inbound and outbound channel map. So again, we were driving leads through multiple areas, and what we discovered is leads that were coming inbound were 80% more likely to buy. So we wanted to make sure they had an accelerated path to get into the sales rep queue. So we made sure that path was seamless. And leads that we were going outbound, so through email marketing, through list buys, through nurture campaigns and webinars, they needed more nurturing. So we wanted to make sure that they had a path where they would go through and get nurtured in a series of emails. And Eric, if you want to flip to the next slide, that'll just show the cadence of those emails that we built out. So basically, the idea here is that we're tailoring the message to the lead so they can kind of pick and choose what path they might have an issue with, so we could further learn more about their business pain points. which really resonated with our audience and really drove high engagement. So we're able to score them and qualify them based on more information than just did they respond to a form. So that's really important. So we built out multiple campaigns, and then the end result was measurement. So being able to measure the effectiveness of these campaigns. So we did sit down with the leadership team, figure out a way to measure all the channels that we were using in our marketing plan. So we knew we were effectively marketing and driving results with our sales and marketing team. And this is a key component, I think, of any strategy and marketing automation platform. It's not just a switch you flip on and it works. It does require effort and test piloting and going through many iterations to get your baseline. And then you can get to a point where you can start measuring those results. And then the last slide is, because we wanted just to prove how we could drive these results. So the story here is that we were able to drive quite a number of over 500 plus new contacts for distributors and manufacturer market. We're able to set 5 meetings and won 2 opportunities and that equated to $1.2 million in less than 60 days. So that ROI on that campaign was pretty significant. And again, the business saw the value in that. So then that really amps up our playbook for future investment of marketing automation. So we want to avoid those pitfalls and we get more investment from our leadership team to get involved with these types of campaigns. Anything to add, Vanessa or Eric, on this case study?
Nope, great job. I'm impressed.
So I think the key result there is, making sure your leads are not left behind and that there's an investment from the leadership team. At this point, I will pass it on to you, Vanessa, to also talk to some of the other important components of a marketing automation and personalization. So you can take it from here.
Great, thanks. Yeah, so the second reason why your marketing automation strategy might not be working is that you're not using data to drive personalization. And along those lines, a secondary reason is that you might not even be collecting or analyzing data that could lead to further personalization. So I'm going to talk through some common pitfalls, and then I'll go through an example of how one of my previous clients solved this issue. So some common pitfalls in relation to not using data to drive personalization is that when you think about your email marketing, you may be sending content that you think your audience wants instead of sending them what they've told you they want based on data that you've collected from them. Again, the second bullet here, as I've said, another pitfall is just not even collecting that data via your email marketing campaigns or other marketing or sales initiatives, not regularly analyzing that data, whether that's your email metrics or your conversion data. So looking at what you actually want them to do and whether or not they're doing it. And then finally, not even having a clear call to action in your emails or other marketing initiatives. So I'm going to talk about a client that I worked with called 3G TMS, who sells and implements a transportation management system for logistics providers or shipping companies. They had 2 different automated email series using Pardot and Salesforce. So they had one that was an email welcome series that people were funneled into after they downloaded content on 3G TMS's website. And then once someone completed that welcome series, they were then funneled into a longer term nurture series that was supposed to get people to sign up for demo requests. What they were finding and what we found after doing an assessment is that their engagement rates with those emails were dropping significantly throughout the series. They really had no clear way of tracking which demo requests were actually coming from those email series. There wasn't any kind of tracking set up. And in the welcome series in general, there actually weren't any demo requests calls to action at all. So given that that was the main action that they wanted people to take from that series, this seemed like a big pitfall. So what we did with them is we completely redid both their welcome series and that longer term lead nurture series. And I'd like to call it a choose your own adventure approach to an email nurture series. This is an example of the first email in their welcome series. So on the left, that's a screenshot of the first email, and you can see that there's three buttons, but the first two give people the option to select the industry that they're interested in, because they sell primarily to two different target markets. So right away, we give people the opportunity to select their industry. And then on the right-hand side, this looks a little scary, but this is an example of a nurture series that was set up in Pardot, where depending on which button someone clicked on, they're sent down a different path. So if they clicked on the LSP button, they're sent down a track that sends them a series of emails targeted to that LSP industry. And then vice versa. If they clicked on the shipper button, they're sent down a track with shipper-specific messaging. And we also were able to track which selection they made on their Pardot records, so that in the future we can do more segmentation to those groups, sending out more targeted email campaigns specifically to those who selected shippers or vice versa. And then with that longer term nurture series that people are funneled into after that welcome series has ended, on the left, this is an example of that first email. We invite people to tell us what's most important to you when selecting a transportation management system. So there's three buttons: cost savings, automation processes, and customer service. And on the right here, this is that nurture series flow where, again, depending on which button they chose, what they told us was most important to them, they're sent down a different track with email messaging that's tailored to that selection that they made. And so again, there we're able to collect data about what people are interested in, both from an industry perspective and what's important to them. And I think that, not only can this be helpful in future email segmentation, but it's also helpful in determining what content to create for your website, what to talk about when you say a prospect gets to that the sales qualified status and the sales rep is about to have a conversation with them. They can easily see, okay, this person told us that cost savings is most important to them, or automation processes is most important to them. So they can tailor their messaging a bit more in that sales meeting to what this person told us they want. So as I mentioned, unfortunately, in the way that these series were set up previously, there's not a way for us to tell exactly how many demo requests came from their old series. But these new series have been running for a little under 2 months. And so far we've got 50 demo requests, which is so far a 3% conversion rate. And we've also seen with this long-term series, a 60% increase in open rate on their emails compared to their old series. So excited to see how this goes over time, knowing that we've only got a small sample data set so far, but I think it is a testament to how gathering information from your customers and giving them what they tell you they want to see can really be impactful and give people a say in the content that they're seeing. I'll pass it back to Amanda.
Great. Vanessa, you hit on some key points. I think being able to figure out that buyer journey for your new customers as well as existing customers is such a key component in building any type of messaging. I think sometimes as a sales and marketing leader, I want to push my ideas or thoughts into their minds, and that's something I've learned from too, is it's way more powerful and impactful to send the buyer down the journey that they're looking to learn more about, letting them self-select what opportunities are or what business challenges are most important to them and how they want to solve for them. And that brings us to our third reason why your marketing automation strategy may not be working. You're not managing your customers effectively. I think a key component of this with a number of customers I work with is they have their existing customers. They've had them for a number of years. They're always thinking they're going to be loyal. But in reality, what I've learned through some research, through some third-party studies, is customers that you're not engaged with have no affiliation, and sometimes they're more likely to leave because they don't feel like they're important to be part of your company. So I think that's a talking point too, because we ran into this with a client of mine at Lifetouch Photography here, and they take a number of portraits for all the way from kindergarten level students, all the way to graduate level, all the way to your business professional photography. And basically what they learned is, these clients will always be loyal to us. We'll always be able to call on them because we've been working with them for so many years, and it's the Lifetouch brand. And there was a opportunity we found within their database. We started looking into it and analyzing it. We found there were 29,000 accounts that have been inactive or marked as not qualified and had just been sitting in this. They've done business with them, they're existing customers, but for some reason or another, the organization just chose to not communicate with them. And as marketers, we said there's got to be a reason why these 29,000 people aren't working with us. So I said, we've created a strategy around a survey, just asking, is there something, how can we win your business back? We did a re-engagement campaign. And Eric, if you want to flip to the next slide, I'll walk you through that. So basically, we wanted to create a survey kind of asking this customer database, how can we win your business back? What is it we could do? And then the other core piece was, what's most important to you in your photography session? Is it cost savings? Is it being able to personalize your portraits? Because again, back to Vanessa's point, that nurturing, being able to speak that language, that customer is so important to your marketing strategies. So what we did is we put together a simple 5-question survey for the inactive accounts that we haven't been talking to in the last few years. And we set them down this nurture series. And I think this is a really important piece, is just knowing what you don't know about an untapped customer base. Is we started following them up with a phone call, letting them know that the survey would be coming. We followed that up with an email, a couple reminder emails, and then another follow-up with a call just to take the survey. But basically, in a thank you email, the main call to action is, how can we serve you? This objective was not to get revenue or drive new business. It was simply, how do we re-engage was our key priority. We were mostly looking at how many people can we land meetings with, and what is the sentiment out there. But what actually ended up happening, and we were all kind of shocked by this, is the people we were surveying they were like, we haven't heard from you. We'd love to get our session set up. So it ended up turning into a results-driven campaign, which yielded in $8.1 million of new pipeline and $4.2 million of closed deals against this 29,000 account base. We all kind of scratched our heads and go, wow, sometimes just showing customers you want to engage with them, again, they're important to you, and understanding how you can work with them will drive to close revenue without even having a strong call to action on the sales side. And Life has already had a strong brand in this space. So being able to just re-engage with this inactive customer base was just unsolved pipeline and revenue for this organization that helped them grow and have one of their highest performing quarters in the last 10 years. So this is, again, a key piece to, avoid is, once you have your customers, don't leave them left behind either, because there's still opportunities to expand your footprint, get more wallet share, and also improve your customer service satisfaction rating. And that's how I would sum it up with this particular pitfall.